Hi everyone, it's Killshot99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead live fan reactions week number 6. And I don't know what to say. We are going to really break this one down, no doubt about it. So we've got not a lot of notes here. I will say that I don't think the score is going to be very high. I will finally put to rest the conversation about whether or not Ginny will ever be a top 5 villain in the history of The Walking Dead. And I think we can emphatically say no. She doesn't want to kill people. She actually saved a couple people tonight. June could have finished the job and made everybody's life less miserable. She decided that cutting off her hand, saving Ginny, was worth it because she would get a hospital. So she saved Ginny, lost John in the process. I'm not a fan. So I'm going to start it out. I'm going to ask all of you here. Let's give it some scores. I'm just super curious from a 1 to a 10 of where you guys are going to rate it. I know even diehard fans of Fear the Walking Dead did not score it very high. So, yeah, we got some 5.5, 3, 6.5, 7. I don't know, Moon. I guess I'm curious what you liked about it. Amy 2.5, Churl 5. I was struggling with tonight. And I've been up in the 6s and 7s. I don't know what the critics are going to say with tonight's episode. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of jokes about losing your hand. I mean, you know, stealing the whole. When somebody does something, we say it's a callback or, you know, it's paying tribute to The Walking Dead. Rick didn't lose his hand, but Ginny did. And don't you guys feel pretty certain that it's going to come back to haunt them? Like, Ginny's not going to appreciate it? I mean, doesn't Ginny pretty much owe her life to June? But yet, you know, she had a chance to end this whole thing right there. Now, let me ask this question. Was anybody mildly frustrated that half of tonight's episode seemed like an episode from last year when they had almost the exact same problem in the exact same oil field? But they cleaned it up only to have the exact same problem again. So I felt like I was watching last year. Wes. So we recycled scenes from last year. They're not killing anybody. They could have killed Wes tonight. They could have killed Ginny. But on Fear the Walking Dead, nobody dies. Randy says the only good part is John got away. Well, okay. Now, I don't want to do this tonight. I really don't want to do this. How many reunions do we have to have only to have people separated? Think about this. All right. John traveled all the way around the world to find June. Then John and June get together. Then June does something to save Ginny. And then John leaves June. Now, that wouldn't be such a bad story if the exact same thing wouldn't have just happened to Dwight. Dwight travels all the way across the country to find Sherry. Dwight finds Sherry. And then they separate. But we get Sarah and Wendell back. So there's that. Or how many people thought, hey, June, John, you're going to follow us right behind, right? Yeah, I'm going to follow you. Why didn't she just say, hey, you guys drive the truck. I'm going to jump in the back here with John. We got some talking to do. I like how they were rushing. Like Wendell and Sarah were rushing. Like, hey, we gotta hit the road. We gotta hit the road. Okay, I'll be right there. You're gonna follow behind, right? Why didn't they just say, hey, just chill out a little bit, Wendell? And by the way, I'm riding shotgun with John. Yeah, what is it like with all the dudes on Fear the Walking Dead? Morgan and Grace. It's like you can't stay together. John and June are split up. Morgan and Grace are split up. Dwight and Sherry just met. We've been waiting 2 years for the two of them to get back together, and they lasted one episode. Um, Daryl, I don't know what it means. I really don't. I'm trying. Could it be Proctor John? I don't think it would surprise anybody if it was. And people have been watching Fear for a long time, might actually get some enjoyment out of that closure or that storyline. But I do have to ask this because, well, I've got a side wager on it, so it's important to me. From a scale of 1 to 10, give me the Ginny fear meter of how much. I can't even do this. I can't even do this with a straight face anymore. Give me the Ginny fear meter from a 1 to a 10. There is nothing. There's nothing scary about her at all. In fact, I think it is more likely than not that Ginny becomes I won't say a hero, but I think they're transitioning her into a likable character. I really do. This is mind-blowing. It really is to think about. We are 1 year away, or 1 year removed from the introduction of Ginny. We met her about a year ago in the mid-season finale, and now I believe her. I believe her when she said, all I care about is Dakota. I believe her when she said, I'm doing this for the community. I believe her when she said that her and June need to talk. So I think the story, Daryl, to your point, I think the story is about who else is out there. But we've been down this road before. It's a person who reports to a person who reports to a person. All right, so let me kind of disprove the whole Ginny villain theory. How many people are more afraid of this group of people who are painting the end as the beginning than we are of Ginny's community? That seems to be the big mystery, right? There's a submarine out there. 2 of the people just died. Morgan killed them, which means there's got to be more of them. There's got to be a bigger group of them. And at this point, here's what we have. And I'm trying to unpack this. And I want to go back to Daryl's point with possibly Proctor John. So here's the different groups we have. You got Ginny's group. You got kind of Morgan and his group. You've got Sherry and her masked marauders. And then you got this unknown group. So, all right, so how many people were frustrated with The Walking Dead when Maggie didn't kill Negan? Or maybe not frustrated because you like Negan, but how many people were a little surprised and concerned that Maggie just walked away? And it sort of handcuffed everybody, right? So I see this kind of happening. So Negan kills Glenn. Maggie gets the chance to exact revenge. She doesn't. She walks away. Because Maggie doesn't do it, Daryl couldn't kill Negan. Michonne couldn't kill Negan. Nobody could kill Negan. So stick with me for a second here, because this is important. Doesn't the fact that June saved Ginny undermine everything that Morgan has been doing? Think about this. Think about the problem here. Morgan's whole MO right now is to kill Ginny. It's all he wants to do. So June could have just pulled a Morgan. So what's that conversation going to be like? Here comes Morgan riding in on a horse, ready to finish the job, and June's like, "Whoa, hold on now. Yeah, no, we're gonna let her stay alive. She's not really as bad as you think." So we've been watching Morgan for 6 episodes, working his way back to Ginny, working his way to the point of where he can finish this and extinguish this evil. And now Morgan's arc is completely irrelevant. So tonight, in one fell swoop, everything that we've seen with Morgan and learned this season is completely irrelevant. John and June's relationship, completely irrelevant. What does Sherry want to do? Sherry wants to kill Ginny. So now Sherry can't kill Ginny because Ginny is not the bad guy. Ginny has information with other people. So now you're going to see Sherry's group, Morgan's group, Ginny's group all start to gradually band together and work together to fight whoever's spray painting and blowing up their oil field. And I got to tell you, they got to be close, because if you're close enough to spray paint, you got to be close enough to kill somebody because you're spray painting. So somebody's got to be right there watching. And the question that we got to ask is, Why are they leaving messages? What's the relevant of leaving all what's the importance of leaving all these messages? Unless they're just making it up as they go. So here's what this feels like. With The Walking Dead, we get a story and we can break it down and assess it and do bold predictions and all those cool things like, hey, maybe this person, Negan's good, Negan's bad. We can assess things. With Fear the Walking Dead, I feel like they give us an unsolvable riddle and we waste our time trying to solve it. Right? Like there's no answer to it, but yet we get together and talk about it looking for an answer. Randy, I don't disagree. And I gave up on World Beyond after 2 episodes. And I don't want to give up on Fear. But at the same time, I can't say it's good. It's almost just you're waiting on something good to come out of it. And there it may be. There still may be a good activity or a good story or a good death or something. So I'm not saying it is it's completely unsalvageable. I just think they've dug such a hole that even when they do something phenomenal, it's going to seem average. Because anybody can put together a good episode. So, like for example, something shocking could happen next week. But we're 6 episodes in, and who's right, who's wrong. I think that probably is the riddle, right? So the real question, well, there's 2 questions. A couple more, but maybe 2 main questions. Who's this other group? And we'll probably find more out about them next week because it's mid-season finale. And who's right? Is John right or is June right? John thinks that Ginny is evil. He wants to run away, start over. June thinks that Ginny has some information and that she can be helpful. So those 2 questions are really going to be the big question. Now, anything, we can trace it back to this point. Again, anything that happens bad to any of our characters that Ginny is involved in at this point going forward, well, it's kind of June's fault. And I don't want to hear, I'm sorry, I should have killed her while I had the chance. What I don't understand, maybe you guys can help me with this one. I don't understand how a group of people can be under someone's thumb and almost to a person they say, well, we don't agree with you. Why didn't you kill her? I didn't kill her. Why didn't you kill her? Why didn't you kill her? So all 4 of these people, basically, Wes is there. Wes is almost on his deathbed, and he came back to life immediately. But almost to a person, they were like, well, why didn't you just kill her? And then Wendell shows up, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we go back to just being under someone else's command. I just don't understand how they can go from not liking the situation and wanting to get out of the situation to all of a sudden just back to being involved in the community. And it's very incongruent because well, here's another question. Maybe you guys can help me with this. Does anybody remember John going out and seeing Janice ripped apart because Ginny ordered Janice to die? You guys remember that? Walk me through this. Just humor me for a second. I see you, Gravestone. She's like, it's like steak. World beyond is rare. Fear is medium. And Walking Dead is well done. Oh, I see where you went with that. Well done. Touche. All right, so let's go back in time. I'm old enough to remember John walking out and the radio was playing and Janice was getting devoured and John had to bury Janice and John was mad and John walked in and he wanted to kill Ginny and he got stopped and then tonight he wanted to run away. Right? So why didn't John shoot Ginny when he was standing beside Ginny and June? John comes in, and June's there, and John could even end it. Don't you think it's kind of a little disrespectful of Janice's memory? Janice didn't do anything wrong, and she got executed, but it's okay for Ginny to live? Does that not bother anybody? No Janice fans out there? Anybody care about Janice? Right, Sam? I mean, why is it okay just to kill her off? Well, that too. Ginny's actually been doing a little practicing. She couldn't hit Morgan from point blank, but boy, she executed some walkers tonight. And I'm okay with that. I figure it's been a year. So, recycled scene. Back to the oil field. Been there, done that. Um, the walker in the back of the truck turned faster than any walker in Walking Dead history. Wes looked like he was on his deathbed. 5 minutes later, Wes was back, smiling and nodding. Ginny went from the beacon of evil, like everybody wanted to kill her, to getting Rick Grimes' infamous chopped off hand scene. So they cut off Ginny's hand, keep her alive for something. Sorry, I'm back. I was so excited to talk about fear tonight. I didn't even change the scene. But anyway, hey, big shout out to our Patreons because they've been up on the screen for like 30 minutes. But yeah, again, just out of curiosity, we've had a few more people log in. Anybody rate it over a 6? Anybody rated tonight's episode over a 6? Yeah, Daryl, I wasn't even that high. I was pretty concerned. Randy, you might be right. 5 minutes of it was an 8, 55 minutes of it was a 3. I I find myself agreeing with you, but that has been typical for fear. But I do think you just have the seatbelt on waiting for it to happen. No, I don't think it's a matter of when Glenn killed somebody, Glenn didn't kill somebody. I think it Dark Princess, it's called it's like a okey doke. And Fear the Walking Dead has historically had this problem. They can't develop a villain. They never have been able to do it. They can't put enough into it. They can't develop the story. They can't make us hate anyone. And they always show this mediocre decision maker and they portray it as a villain. See, that's the problem. If it wasn't their intention to do it, I could understand it. But they make you think that they can do it, and then they realize that, and I think it is a disconnect with the audience. And and I do think so. And Daryl, I don't think they'll bring Madison back or Troy, but I got to tell you, they're getting into a point where something ridiculous is going to have to scoop in and save the show. Movie star says maybe there's a big payoff coming. There's a big payoff coming. The big payoff is that we sit through those Jake from State Farm ads and those Lincoln ads every Sunday night, hoping that the show is going to be better than a 7, and they keep giving us a shit show of a 2. That's the payoff, and that's the problem. Is you keep dragging the audience along on the hope that it is going to be good-ish, not even good, good-ish. But at some point, you gotta have a story to it. You can't just have a bunch of people going in a bunch of different directions. It's just not life, right? I mean, come on. All right, let me ask. All right, movie star, then tell me this. Where the hell is John going? Just rationalize that for me. That's all. Just tell me where the hell John's going. Tell me anybody in their right mind. There's no rationale to it. His whole life has been around June. Even when Ginny had him under his thumb, he was writing her letters. I'm not Ginny. Yes. He gets June back. And then he just bolts. Now, why have they not left? What's the one reason? What's the one reason that none of these people have left at this point? No, there's one reason. It's not. It's not even comfort. It's not even food. The only reason why they haven't left is because they're afraid that Ginny will kill everybody else. So they just totally threw that out the window tonight. John is like, it doesn't matter anymore. Kill all of them. We've already heard that like 4 times. We can't leave because she'll kill everybody else. She'll hunt us down. But now it's not even a fear. So the writers kept us like on our edge and sold us the fact that the only reason why these people stayed together for 10 months was because they were afraid of what was going to happen. And then tonight, John's just willing to leave and just roll the dice and say, okay, well, Ginny might kill Strand. Ginny might kill June. Ginny might kill all of them, but I got to go think. Of course they're all going to get back together. I mean, John's going to run into Morgan. There's no doubt about it. Right? Neon sign. John splits up from June. June's sad because she didn't see it happening. Nobody looked in the rearview mirror to see if John was still following them. I don't think John's going to drive off into nowhere and we're never going to find him again. So John is miraculously going to run into Dwight and Morgan, and then they're all going to get back together, and John's going to tell them the story about Ginny, and then they're going to meet back up. We'll be desensitized toward Morgan's lack of wanting to kill Ginny any longer. We'll find out there's another group that is more vicious than Ginny. They'll all bury the hatchet, and then it'll be us versus them. Because I think we've pretty much figured out Ginny ain't a bad guy. Moon, I'm on to it, but it's like reading a Dr. Seuss book. By page 2, you already know that they're not eating green eggs and ham. It's a good question, movie star. What's the point of watching? I mean, the same could be said with anything. If you go from 10 million viewers on Walking Dead to 8 million viewers to 5 million viewers to 2 million viewers, then there's probably 8 million people out there that's going to say, what's the point of watching? So I don't think that a new audience is watching. I do think that diehard Walking Dead fans are watching, which are probably the people that keep saying, when can you put a story out there? Or they're milking it. So let me ask this question, okay? We'll take this approach. And I know the answer of Walking Dead fans. So if I ask like myself or many of you, why do you watch Fear the Walking Dead? There's a lot of different reasons. But let me ask it this way. Think of it as a non-Walking Dead. So maybe that'll help. How many people think, based on the engaging story, that Fear the Walking Dead should have lasted more than 3 seasons? Not did we watch it, not did we talk about it, not do we care about. Based on the story, how many people think Fear the Walking Dead should have lasted more than 3 seasons? Because there's better shows out there that got canceled. Let's be honest. I think season 4 was the best. Randy, and I was pleasantly surprised at season 4 because I thought it was a good comeback. Well, Nacho, I would say that season 3 was probably the worst rated season of all time for Fear the Walking Dead. So certainly it's an acquired taste. And I'm not saying it wasn't good for you, but I'm just saying the general audience hated it. Which is why it was such a pleasant surprise that season 4 was good. And that's why I asked the question of 3 seasons. Because in a lot of cases, season 3 would have been so bad that they would have canceled the show. But there's a lot of us that are Walking Dead fans that watched it. So that's kind of my point, right? Movie Star said, if Fear the Walking Dead came before The Walking Dead, I don't think Fear the Walking Dead would still be on. Maybe that's a great way to kind of frame it. I don't know if there's another show that you can compare it to. But when you have a base audience, that's going to keep you afloat, right? I mean, for a certain amount of time. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into World Beyond. Well, I think they're trying to do with World Beyond what a lot of people are doing with Fear the Walking Dead. Keep it afloat long enough in order to see if it changes. And to give a few more of the Easter eggs in order to tie it together. Just checking out a couple of these comments really quickly. I don't disagree with that. That World Beyond 2 seasons and the announcement. I was concerned about it in the beginning that they made the announcement, but I think that it's keep you attached long enough to see if it's going to develop into something. That's funny. Um, no, I don't think it's that, Alicio. I would strongly disagree with that comment that some people are so blinded by season 1 and season 2 they can't see its comeback. I think for the most part we've assessed it episode by episode. And when we talk about tonight's episode, we don't really go into what Nick did or what Madison did. I think we look at whether or not it makes any sense. And it's just a lot of stuff they're doing with the characters and the villains that don't make a lot of sense. World Beyond just set up. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, I think to a degree, I thought they had a bright spot by having it on West Coast and in Mexico, and then by the end of the season is where they really started wearing it down. Go to Mexico, Nick, drug problems. All right, so I'm going to give you guys some data here. Because I know a couple of you guys said, "Oh my God, season 3 is so good, so good." So here's your viewer ratings for season 3. Those of you that loved it. Um, season 3, episode 1. Percent of demo change minus 61%. So from season 2 to season 3, they dropped to 3 million viewers, which was 50% less than they had the previous season. But then you go from episode 1 to episode 2, they went from 3.1 million viewers to 2.6 million viewers. So they lost another 500,000 viewers from one episode to the next. Then you go from episode 2 to episode 3, another 200,000 viewers, down to 2.5 million. Episode 3 to episode 4, another 100,000 viewers to 2.3. Then they actually, in episode number 5, that might have been the episode Nick died. I'll have to go back and check. 3.5 could have been something substantial. They actually increased their viewers by 4%. But then after episode 5 to episode 6, 12% of their viewers stopped watching. 2.1 million. By the end of the season, 2.2 million viewers in Fear the Walking Dead. So overall, as far as viewerships, they lost more viewers between season 2 to season 3 than any other season. So there were certainly some episodes that were pretty good, but I'm pretty sure that was the dam scene, and that was one of the poorest rated of all time. But it's pretty substantial drop off. No, that's exactly the point that I'm making, Jason. That's exactly the point. And it goes back to, I don't know, it might have been what Movie Star said earlier. If Fear the Walking Dead was a standalone show, and it wasn't propped up by the Walking Dead fans, would there be as much intrigue and interest as we have for it? We watch because of Morgan and Dwight and the story. All of those things. So that 2 million fan base is a Walking Dead fan base, obviously. And that's exactly why we watch it, exactly why we talk about it. But talking about it and worshiping it and justifying it or overinflating it's two different things. And I do think there's an extra. Look, I mean, I'm not going to say if you thought tonight was an 8 that you're oblivious to it. You just like different things that most other people don't like. I'm the same way. There's probably movies or songs that I like that a lot of you guys don't like. I get that. But I'm saying by and large, when you look at Rotten Tomatoes and you're still getting a 7 out of 10, that's not phenomenal. It's not the worst thing on television, but it's not phenomenal. And they were losing viewers. 100% agree, Cheryl. She said, I can't stop watching even if the episodes are great. And that's not what anybody's advocating. Nobody's advocating that we turn off the television and stop watching it. However, you can't be oblivious to the fact that a lot of people do turn off the television and stop watching. And if they don't juice up something with the story and make it a little bit better, more people are going to tune out to it. I certainly think that I think Dark Star said a little bit earlier that the acting's gotten better. I don't think the acting was ever the problem. In fact, Ginny's on some Netflix show, The Boys, something like that. And I think she's pretty good. But I don't know what it is that makes you come to fear The Walking Dead. And Garrett Dillahunt is very good. I mean, we're not talking about bad acting. I just think that it's I mean, I do think it goes back to not being able to have us fully understand and feel the evil in some of these characters. I've always felt, for me, that the Walking Dead universe is that balance of survival, painting a villain the right way. If anything, this year, Fear the Walking Dead has gotten more gruesome, more guts, more vivid. I certainly think that they've focused in on that a little bit more. Like, this is probably 4 episodes in a row where you've seen somebody's intestines just hanging out. So it's gotten a lot more visual. That's okay, Alicia. I mean, you're an apologist. It's okay. I mean, to each their own. So Nacho says, I think the first 4 episodes of season 6 were fine, but the last 2 have definitely been worse. So Nacho, let me kind of touch on that. So the first 4 episodes, most people here did not rate it a 9. I'd say our average score was probably about a 6.5 to a 7. Did you guys agree with that? I mean, you guys have been here for most of kind of the after talk, the locker room talk. Can we agree it's probably a 6.5 overall? I mean, there were some 4s, there were some 7s, but not 8s, not 9s. Couple people here or there. So again, I think, is a 6.5 horrible? No. Nobody was coming in saying the first 4 episodes was a 2 or a 3, but I think you could also see that it was tailing off a little bit, right? The excitement in the first episode was there. The bounty hunter and killing we talked about this the first episode. The bounty hunter looked like he had some potential, and they wasted him right out of the gates. So you're like, okay, what's a trade-off? Because the whole purpose of introducing this badass character and then having Morgan kill him is to show Morgan's arc. The importance and the development of Morgan. Like, Morgan's not going to take any crap anymore. And I'm cool with that. I like that. So what was extremely disappointing about tonight is that now that arc might be undermined. Now we might get last year's Morgan again. And that's just not congruent. Again, we'll go back to what Movie Star said 20 minutes ago. Maybe they're setting it up for, a big event. And that's still possible. But they're losing some of the steam in doing that because it's almost as if they write something and then they forget that they did it. Does that make sense? That there just seems like there's a lot of loose ends that are floating around out there, and we just sort of have to gloss over it. and not forget that it's something we just witnessed 2 weeks ago. And I think the true test is whether or not it's working and whether or not we are immersed in the story. So maybe you guys can help me out with this. Why have Ginny involved in this apparently evil act of Janice? And maybe you can say, hey, we didn't care about Janice. We don't know who Janice is. But nonetheless, Janice was still murdered. Unreconcilable, couldn't be fixed. Chain her up, let the walkers eat her, play some music. But then tonight, Ginny freaks out because somebody kills themselves. And then Ginny wants to save people, and she's a perfect shot. So tonight, we're just sort of made to believe that she's really not that bad. Which is kind of what we thought all along. So why make her bad in the first place? Why throw that episode in there and give us the idea that she's capable of these things when she really isn't? She have an evil twin. That, you know what? That might be the best comment ever. Maybe that's the big surprise. We're going to find out there were two Ginnys. We're going to see the one walk out with her hand still. Ha ha ha. It was me all along. Perfect. You mean Logan? Nacho? I think that's a great question. Why is the mask group so angry? Why does Sherry want to kill Ginny? We know why Morgan wants to kill Ginny. And, hey, Ginny hired a bounty hunter. But you know what? Hang on. This, you know what? I'm with you guys 100%. So again, if Ginny is that bad, if Ginny did these things to this mass group, if Ginny tried to kill Morgan, if Ginny hired a bounty hunter to kill Morgan, why did June save her? See, we can't fix it both ways. Why did John not kill her on the spot? It's a perfect question. Ginny she killed Logan. She did some vile stuff apparently to these masked people. She killed Janice. She tried to kill Morgan. That's a pretty good resume. And June had her right there and says, don't make me regret this. I'm just going to keep you alive. Again, I'll buy it one way or the other. I can't buy it both ways, though. She is, but John had a clean shot from 4 feet away. John could have shot her. Instead of John shooting her, he was like, okay, we're done. Let's just drive away. And Nacho, see, I agree. So Nacho says, my biggest problem is Ginny is very accessible, but yet these people choose, and look, the Rangers don't look that bad either. I don't think I've seen a single one of their Rangers that looks like scary. Not you know what? We've seen Dwight Morgan do some pretty incredible stuff. I would just think that Dwight, Al, Morgan, Alicia, I would think that 10 of them could overtake Ginny and all the Rangers easily. They've done some pretty miraculous stuff. So, to go back to Dark Princess, is the acting better? Acting's fine. Is it consistent? I guess, we'll know a little bit more in the next couple weeks. Well, we're going to find out something with Strand next week. All right. So we've been an hour. Let's do one final rating. We've had about an hour to sort of break it down, talk about it. Some scores might have went up. Some scores might have went down. Coming into tonight, we were about a 6.5. So give me your final answer. Tomorrow morning, when you're talking about Fear of the Walking Dead, things you like, things you didn't like, somebody asks you, you have to rate this from a 1 to a 10. Let me see where you guys think tonight's episode is. So if we came in at a 6.5, so far, almost everybody tonight is below the season average. We got a lot of 4s, a lot of 5s, some 6s in there. 6.5, 7, couple people above it. Most people trending 4 to 5. So I would agree. I think tonight, I don't think they did themselves any justice tonight. I think the show took a big step back. I think they need a big mid-season finale to really start trending in that direction. And let's be honest. Look, a 6.5 is not great. A 6.5 is okay. It's entertaining enough. And I think the fact that we're Walking Dead fans, we'll accept a 6.5 because we're looking at all the other stories and we like the characters, so on and so forth. All right. Good stuff, everybody. Hey, good chat, good dialogue. I appreciate the honesty. Again, I don't take it personally, things you like about the show. Don't take it personally, things that I want in the show. We're all Walking Dead fans. We all want the best possible story. Sometimes it's going to be better than other nights. We're only halfway through the season. It does feel like there's something else out there. It does feel like maybe we'll get it next week. Maybe that's the big reveal in the mid-season finale, that there are some baddies out there that we are going to have to deal with. We'll find out next week. So, hey, thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. As always, do me a favor. Give me a 999. Some people might tune in and say, hey, you guys are negative. You're honest. It's all good. Let's give 999 so I can give some shout-outs and show everybody that regardless, we're still one big family. And we can certainly break down a show, and sometimes we like it. Sometimes we want it to be better. I got Dustin Little in the house. What's up, my man? Amy Bones Ferreira, Samantha Coombs, Gravestone, Julia Muse, Deadly Dives, Busy Bee, Daryl Stoltz, Sergio Mendoza, Maca7, Rebecca Mendez. Thank you, Rebecca. Cheryl Tuck, good to see you. Who else we got? Randy Walton, my man Randy. Keeping it real. Dead on Leprechaun. Thank you. Hippo in the house. Dark Star Princess. Howling Wolf. Good stuff. Great feedback. Appreciate the passion that you guys have. Both the passion to critique and the passion to support the show when you like it. I certainly want to hear both sides of it. When you guys love something, I absolutely love to hear it. Cassandra LeBoom, thank you. Jan Stepp, good to see you as well. Michael Hatfield, thank you, Michael. Well, I think any talk shows, you're always going to get all the good, which is great. I mean, that's why we watch Talking Dead, to get the good stuff. The reason we get together here is just to talk about it. There's no rules or predetermination. Tim Lamore, thank you so much. Good to see you. But you know what? Some people, it's not for everybody, right? Our show, some people don't like it. They don't like to debate and nitpick. We do nitpick sometimes. It's okay. Don't hate it. We just like it. I mean, we just like to talk about what's convenient, what's funny, what's good, what's bad. And I'm never going to let it go until The Walking Dead gives me a villain. I want Fear the Walking Dead to give me what I want. Give me a mean, vile villain that is consistent and is mean to people and will chain them up and play music 2 weeks in a row instead of 1 week in a row. Thank you so much, Macca7. Appreciate that. I figure, you know what? I've been asking. I wanted it to be Mel the Vulture. Like, my hope was Mel the Vulture was going to be that villain. Dude was grilling hot dogs. I mean, they let me down with Mel. And then I was wrong with Logan. I think that's why I was a little upset, is because I could have sworn Logan was going to be the bad guy. That fooled me. Ginny, I didn't think Ginny was going to be that bad. I didn't feel it right from the start. But Logan, I missed on the Logan one. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate the hour. We'll get together and break this down again next week. And time permitting, if we get a chance during the week, I know it's been a little tough, but if we can get a good Thursday, I'd love to get together and talk about bold predictions. Maybe this week will be the week because of the mid-season finale, but we'll play it by ear. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace. Here, let's end it on a positive note. How about a story from Play Dead Live?
It's knowing in that moment that she's your one and only. It's the strength you find in a hopeful midnight prayer. It's trying to find the right words as you're fumbling for the ring. It's how love always wins. It's jumping headfirst into something you're not sure of. It's those things in life that words cannot explain. It's finding meaning in the moments when those tears